All right, welcome to the Bab Rundown, second episode. We got some upgrades today. We got some new people. We got cameras on. It's gonna be a little bit longer. I got, of course, the one and only Coach Burks. You know he's got to be here. Almost every podcast he's been on, so I can trust him to do almost anything for me with the league. We're gonna talk about what's been going on with the offseason so far. We got a couple coaches that are gonna hop on, talk about their teams a little bit. They've made some noise this offseason. Let's get started into the Pac-12 first. Anthony Myers, a Boston College junior cornerback, great player, all ACC player. He's transferring to Arizona State for Coach Rod. I think that's a great move for them. He'll be a cornerback one right away, and they've got two really good corners there. Going to be good for Arizona State if they want to be a contender in the Pac-12, maybe win the Pac-12 championship next year. As they really weren't a big contender in the Pac-12 this year due to the fact that they really had no defense. But I think Anthony Myers is a step in the right direction for Coach Rod.
I don't that for sure. I mean, their defense really held them back, especially against teams like UCLA, which had like a much more complete team. Like Chris Robinson and Coda Cruz are just kind of torching them there. And Anthony Myers brings experience, which is something you can't get with freshmen. So I think he's going to be the best player on defense from day one, probably there. And I think he's going to make a big impact on Coach Rod's Arizona State team.
It's going to be interesting to see how he does in recruiting this year. They're definitely probably going in on the defensive side of the ball after they've got a pretty good offensive core. Stone has proven to be a really good quarterback. Smoke is great. And, of course, Escalade Hill Jr., he had a great year. So
Yeah.
Arizona State on the right direction with that. Let's slide into Oregon now. The Pac-12 champions from last year. I don't think people expected them to win the Pac-12 championship. I think they dropped their regular season game to UCLA, but they bounced back, beat them in the Pac-12 championship, made the Rose Bowl. They did pretty well so far this offseason. They got Victor Burns, a Tennessee receiver, transferring to Oregon after Coach Francois has resigned from Tennessee, retired. It's a weird move for me because I feel like Burns is a little experienced. He's not like a freshman. So it's kind of tough for him. He's going to be a wide receiver 2 behind Bo Hickson because Bo Hickson's probably the best receiver in the conference. He is going to have a great season again next year. They have a young quarterback. I think it's still a good move. Maybe his senior year is when he'll be that wide receiver 1 and he'll hit his peak. That might be the right time for it. But him being wide receiver 2 helps Oregon. I don't know if it helps Victor Burns as much as it helps Oregon.
I can agree with that 100% because I think Victor Burns could have gone to like a newer team like Ole Miss or like in Oklahoma with these new coaches where he could start something new. I mean, don't get me wrong, like Oregon's a good spot. He will be wide receiver 2 for sure, but like this is a pretty pass-focused offense. I'd like to say Jackson Sutton's a good running back as well. But DJ Williams really proved himself last year. I mean, they won the Pac-12 for a reason. He was a really good quarterback. So I think it's a good move for Oregon, but not so much for Burns. I agree with that.
I think the biggest news of the offseason, probably not really talked about as much, though, is Khalil Rose. We covered that in the last episode, him going to Texas. Next day, I see he flips to Oregon, and I'm like, oh, okay. Now, of course he did. But I think even though it's kind of annoying if people flip all the time, I think it's great for Oregon. Khalil Rose is an All-American as a sophomore. He had 8 interceptions, I think it was, this season. A very, very underrated piece of that Tennessee team. And now he's on the Pac-12 champions who really, really lacked a defense. Their defense was not very good. I think he's their first secondary player for next season. Hopefully Coach Riley can build on that. I think he will. But overall, I think these two transfers this offseason have really helped Oregon's chances for next year and can propel them for a really good offseason.
Yeah, with this new era of BAP with Let's Recruits, it's really much harder to build like a really good defense. So you got to rely on star power in some aspects. And Khalil Rose fits that to a complete T. I mean, the dude is an absolute stud cornerback, top 2 or 3 in all of college football. And they're going to get a star that will be able to lock up opposing receivers in the Pac-12 where you got dynamic receivers like Tyreek, you got Escalade Hill Jr. He'll be able to lock up on them on an island.
All right, and I think with that, we should bring in our guest, Coach Riley of Oregon. If he would like to unmute, bring himself in here.
Yo,
what's going on, man?
Nothing, just sitting here, recruiting, getting ready for the off season. Going in the off season.
All right, man. We're pretty big on what you've done so far. Khalil Rose, what was your reaction to getting Khalil Rose? Were you expecting that after he committed to Texas at first?
Well, when he first went to Texas, I was pretty down. But, I just told him pretty much. I was like, yo, if you're not feeling it, you always got a spot here. I went hard. And then he ended up telling me, he was like, I think we want to come here. And I was really hyped about that.
All right, all right. One thing that definitely was a big thing for you guys last season was your offense. DJ Williams, Jackson Sun really propelled himself. Was an All-American. Was he second team? I think he was second team.
Yeah.
And then Bo Hickson, who we probably could have predicted Bo Hickson was going to be a great receiver. Did he make second team too or first team?
Yeah, he was second team.
He was second team. So 2 second team All-Americans and a really good freshman quarterback. You get Victor Burns to be another piece. Are you still looking in recruiting to get another guy, another receiver, another tight end maybe? What's your plan for the offseason right now?
We're definitely looking at a tight end. We got Tre'Davious at wide receiver 3, so we're looking for a tight end. And then we're mainly focusing on defense, front 7, and DBs, but we're definitely looking for a tight end to bring in.
All right. I like Jamari Johnson, the linebacker. He's a solid player. I think he could really propel himself. He gets a little bit more active. He could definitely propel himself to a higher first-round pick next year. I think he'll probably be a late first, but just keep building that defense. I mean, the Pac-12. You weren't the newest coach last season. You're actually the oldest coach in the Pac-12, right?
Yeah.
Technically, you're the oldest coach, even though it's like your 3rd or 4th season with Oregon. So, how are you handling that? UCLA and Arizona State both looking like they've got some good coaches. They did really good in the recruiting trail last season. Got some good players. So, I know you're obviously not going to be scared of them, but you do have to prepare for them. So, what do you have to say about those other schools, those new coaches?
Well, they definitely stepped it up last year. Coach Rod and Coach Nelly both had tremendous offseason last year. So I knew I really had to step it up this offseason. And we started off with some transfers, looking to keep it going. We got to step it up.
All righty, Coach Riley. Thank you for coming in today. Hope you had a good time, and you'll see the episode later.
Oh, yeah. See ya.
Peace out, man. All right, now. It's back to just me and Dan. I mean, me and William. Sorry, my bad. Coach Riley, what a treat to have on the show. Let's go into some more news. Penn State, Grant Foster, the transfer from Tennessee. I'm not too high on him. I don't even know if he would even start on Penn State. You are the quarterback there. I don't know if you probably know more than I do, but I mean, of course, you get a transfer to start, but I don't even know if he might be even the best safety on that team.
Yeah, I don't even know if he's gonna play at safety because we already have 2 safeties on the team. Shout out to Saints Madden League, but we also have another safety on roster. I forget his name.
Adam Banks.
Adam Banks, yeah, they're both pretty good safeties. So I'm not really sure. I mean, I play on Penn State, so I'm hyped about it because he's an active player. But I don't even know if he's gonna play safety. He might play corner. If that's my guess.
We'll see what happens there. I mean, we did see Kelly transferring, so that's going to be another spot. Kind of a weird situation with that, but we're not going to talk about that too much because he hasn't made a decision yet. Last news for Penn State, though, Jacoby Harris, the 4-star running back, he committed pretty early, a top 30 recruit. I like it. I kind of figured Penn State would go after a running back. I didn't think they were going to stick with Nemo Vegas. You can't trust Vegas, man. I mean, we'll see. Vegas may be a little. They might turn him up because they got some competition. He might get active. Who knows? But I think Jacoby Harris is a safe bet to be like a sidekick to you.
Yeah, I like that move by Martello a lot. I did not expect him to keep Nemo at all because I don't think he's been in our chat for 2-3 weeks. But yeah, Harris is a pretty active player. He's an underrated ad, and I think he's going to add a lot to the offense. So you wouldn't have to rely so much on the passing game. So I agree 100%.
One thing, it's sticky for Penn State right now. It's hard to recruit a receiver to them because you got Kobayashi, who's All-American receiver, probably a top 3 receiver in the country right now. And then you also have Ezra Woods, who was also a great receiver last year. I wouldn't say he's an All-American, or All-American type, but he's also a great receiver, have made some big plays for you guys. So definitely Martello's probably looking for a tight end, maybe a wide receiver 3, but that's tough to find a guy who wants to be that 3rd option as in the passing game. So I think that's going to be a challenge Coach Martello will face this offseason, but let's see what he can do.
Well, I think it's interesting because, like I've said before, this new era of BEP is different. Where it was a lot easier before to get like a wide receiver 3 or 4. But it's different because usually like teams that are able to sell them on like winning and having like a national contender. But Markello's only made the playoff like what once, right? So you can't really bank. You can't really bank on that national winning because you don't really know because the Big Ten is competitive, the most competitive conference by far. Michigan, an up and coming Rutgers team. You still got Coach Cubs at Northwestern. Coach Rose at Iowa is always dangerous. You got Ohio State, the reigning national championships. It is a tough conference, so
I
it's
agree.
interesting.
I agree. So that'll conclude our Big Ten news, really. So let's talk about Tennessee. 3 3-star commits on the first day of recruiting. Coach Panda getting some guys. Kind of a laughing. Everyone kind of laughing at him. Everyone. I feel like that's the consensus around the league is like, really? You got 3 of the top last like 6 recruits in the class. It's kind of silly, but yeah. How do you feel about Coach Panda right now, Tennessee?
People have treated it as a meme that he's at Tennessee. Some people are counting the days that he's spending at Tennessee. They fully expect him to retire. But you have to build a foundation somewhere, no matter what the rankings are. And as we've seen in BAP history, there have been a lot of amazing 3-star. Shamar Stevens was the last ranked recruit and won a Heisman. So you never know. These guys can be active for him. But, props to Panda for actually recruiting and getting guys. But we have seen this before at Texas Tech where he recruited a bunch of pre-recruited stars. And so, take it with a grain of salt. But you know what? If he can build off this, respect to him. Because he also got Jabez Parker as a transfer. Am I right?
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that. I didn't.
Jabez
All
Parker.
right, I covered that. I said that in the last video, right?
Yeah. But
That's
if he can get like just a foundation, a core, if he can get like one blue chip prospect, I think he can compete in the SEC in the coming years.
I think he's pushing for some of those top guys. I think he's trying. We'll see how that goes. I don't know, but good luck to Coach Panda. Good luck. And all right, so we're almost here to the conclusion. Florida got the first commit of the class. Try Jordan Clariner, the 4-star receiver. Coach Evan getting another commit of his second 10-year at Florida. He's always been pretty okay at recruiting the skill positions. So we'll see if he can get the trenches, though. Good for him. I hope he gets some more guys, gets a solid team at Florida, makes SEC a little bit more competitive. Not very great right now. And then finally, our last story, Dalvin Sutton, the 4-star defensive end, commits to Clemson, Coach Lynch. Are you ready to show yourself, Dan? Hop in here, buddy. How are you doing, man?
I'm feeling pretty good right now with our first commit.
Hey, man, Dalvin Sutton. You got to get a Sutton family guy. I think that's a good pickup to start you off. Who are you pushing for now? What's next for Clemson?
Well, I'm pushing up for a lot of like bigger name guys like Kanye, Atlas, Hickson, and Chance Williams. I feel like with all like those group of guys, they're like all like close together. I feel like if I could push Kanye, because he's already DJ as of the high school at Bosco, I feel like I could land him at Clemson, and then that will just pull other dudes.
All right. Not really going for the 3-star route or not really right now.
Oh no, I've definitely hit up all like definitely everyone, but those my main like vocal points are Kanye, like Kanye.
All right, respect. What was your reaction to seeing Sutton commit? Did you see it coming, or was it just kind of unexpected?
I saw when he told me like he was trying to like just get out of the way because he's trying to recruit for South Carolina. I definitely how he like reacted to my offer and everything. I definitely saw as like he was very interested, but I kind of saw it as I didn't see it coming as soon as it did.
That's good. ACC is pretty weak. Coach Langford just retired. Miami is Miami. Coach DeMar did get what's his name? James Thomas, the Iowa tight end. That's a good pickup, but he won't even play next year. So we'll see. He won't even get to play with Charlie Davenport. Clemson looks like they're going to be the second best team in the ACC right off the bat. I don't think there's any other new teams in the ACC, like a couple, like small, like Wake Forest, Florida State. Okay. So one player is better than no players. Congrats on that. You have anything you want to tell everyone about Clemson? What's next for Clemson? What do you got to tell them?
ACC championship, baby.
All right,
I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Miami year one. Hey, it could happen. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
All right, I think that's all for us. William, you got any final thoughts for the people?
I do not. No, I said what I needed to say.
All right. Next episode, we're gonna get some more ideas. We're gonna just keep it coming. I think this is great. Thank you for coming on, Dan. That's all
You're
for
welcome.
us today. Peace out, y'all.